This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with William Hill and Empire Fight Store.
I've got no hair product.
This is inverted as well, though, when it flips around like that.
I've got no hair product.
What do you expect me to do about that?
If I had a hairline like yours, I'd shave the whole thing off.
Exactly why I've done it.
Yeah, I really would, because I would love to have a skinhead. And at some point, I'm going to have to go to Turkey.
And then don the skinhead. But you know you have to go through that long process.
If I went to Turkey with a picture of your hairline and said, because actually my hairline actually used to be down here. Anyway, carry on.
Wow.
Well done. Listen, you're smashing it on the old runs. 7.5k this morning.
Tony, right, he's a lunatic. So I was told 1 lap, then it was 2 laps. Alex quit after 1, bless him. Fair play, I respect it. No, he's not here. Alex, S&C Alex.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah, he ran though, did he? He's a big boy. Yeah. Strong boy.
And then we done 2 laps and Tony was like, 1 more. I thought, oh my God, it was brutal. It's so humid. We'll it's like New Orleans.
We'll do it tomorrow morning. You're faster than me now.
I bought them fucking trainers that everyone's... Mate, it's like having jetpacks in your feet.
Oh, yeah, jetpacks, yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah, not really, no.
Okay. We're in Orlando, Florida. Life's all right, isn't it?
Life is good, mate. Mexico last week. I guess it's kind of on the way home, isn't it? So we're here, and also, of course, the news dropping this morning. One, it was a great fight card anyway. Hitchins against Zepeda, great fight. McCaskill against Sandy Ryan, incredible fight for the unified world titles. Ammo against Steve Rolls, great fight. And now Conor Benn is back. So huge show on Saturday, live on DAZN. And then next week, Opatara against Thompson. Huge announcements coming left, right and centre. Big announcements for the business. Big announcements for big fights in the US. Big announcement for big fights in the UK. And press conferences. Bam against Sonny, press conference tomorrow. Katie Taylor, press conference with Chantel Cameron, the undisputed, queen of the 140-pound division. And can't wait, mate. Can't wait. Buzzing.
Are you picking these venues just because they're ridiculously nice? Because I can't believe that, this isn't work.
No, this is an interesting choice for us. I mean, Hitchins, I think, is going to be a big star of American boxing. He's not yet, because of his previous promotion, really been, I don't believe, have the profile that he should have. So rather than go somewhere for 6,000-7,000, where we're going to sell 2,500-3,000, let's go to a venue for that size. The Caribe Royale here in Orlando has been making a big play for boxing. We've never been to Orlando before. It's a nice size, I think 2,500, something like that. It's all on site, if you've seen. Great facilities, beautiful hotel. And looking forward to, and there's going to be a lot of Brits now trying to get in on Saturday night because of the Conor Benn fight. So, can't wait.
Well, look, before we go into this card, I suppose it's only right to address the tragic circumstances of what happened on Friday night. Just on your side, I mean, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of bigger than boxing, isn't it, really? You know, we was, 20 seconds left in the Sabrina Perez fight. And, Diego Arrua, the corner was 6 feet from me, 8 feet from me. Like 20 seconds left in the round, he just collapsed off his stool on the floor right in front of us, and it was quite hot in the arena. And I think the initial feeling was that he'd fainted or something like that. And the bell went for the final round, and the medics were on him very quickly, and soon after had the defibrillator on him pumping his chest. And the most heartbreaking part of it was to see Sabrina leave the ring and stand on the apron and have to watch this whole process. And then he got put on a stretcher, he got taken to hospital, and she walked out and got in the ambulance with him with all her gloves on and everything. And unfortunately, he passed away. And, at the time, I met him on Thursday. People were talking on the broadcast, it was his trainer, it was a brother, it was a husband, it was a father, whatever. And, of course, it was a husband of, I think, 16, 17 years. And just absolutely heartbreaking. You can't even imagine the pain and grief that she's in. And I also watched on the broadcast that they both had opened a gym in Buenos Aires, and it was like such a huge achievement for them. And I went onto her Instagram, I looked at the pictures of the gym, and you saw the pride that they both talked about this gym, and one of the reasons they opened that gym was to give young people opportunities in Buenos Aires. So I feel that words and condolences at this point, although we should offer them, we've been doing everything we can on the ground for those guys in Mexico to help, with paperwork, and obviously, unfortunately, they have to get the body home to Argentina to lay Diego to rest. And I think we need to try and do something beyond that period to try and help that gym, but so tragic. Life is brutally unfair, and it was just so heartbreaking to see that incident unfold before your eyes. You never really see anything like that, and it was something that will obviously live with us forever, and we just hope that God can give us strength right now in this time.
I'm sure the boxing fans and the world reiterate those comments. On to Saturday night. Conor Benn does make his eagerly anticipated return to the ring. I was with him this morning, rubbed shoulders as it was announced, and he watched that video. Very emotional moment for him.
I'm not surprised. I think one of the biggest challenges of this fight is, and I'm hoping that Rodolfo Orozco is not going to be too dangerous on Saturday. He'll have a go, but this is like, when he walks to that ring on Saturday, you cannot believe what this man has been through this last 12 months. Like, it doesn't really matter what I think. I know he's innocent. So to have to go through that is just been demoralising, it's been crippling, and he's shown unbelievable strength to come through the other side. So he's just got to keep his cool on Saturday, because there will be a lot of emotion. And when I've watched him spar recently, fuck me, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, looks like the most dangerous fighter I've ever seen. But just got to stay calm, and this is one of the reasons Tony wants him to fight before that massive fight in December, because just get it out of your system, and I'm excited. I mean, it's time. And when we made the decision today, we knew it would come with some criticism, especially from people with agendas, and especially with people that might not know the situation that led to this point. And everyone's entitled to criticise, but it's time now. He's cleared to fight. He can't just sit around and waiting for people to make decisions, waiting for hearings that might or might not happen. It's time, and the time is Saturday.
Eddie, what is the testing situation in the lead up to this fight? How long has Conor known about it? I suppose on the top of that, I assume the British Boxing Board of Control have had to give the ABC the blessing for Conor to fight. What's the testing situation?
So firstly, he's been tested on multiple occasions over the last 12 weeks, even leading, or more, even leading up to. At that point, they weren't tests because we knew he was fighting on this date, but we just felt that in his situation it was something that should happen. As well as those multiple tests, just to run people through the procedure of him fighting, we made the decision that we would like him to fight probably the beginning of last week. He's licensed by the Texas Athletic State Commission. Okay, this fight is in the Florida Athletic State Commission territory. You also have the ABC, which is essentially like the governing body of state commissions. When we spoke to Texas, they said, we were aware that Conor Benn was suspended. Is that the case? And we said, no, he's no longer suspended. He's been cleared to box. They said, well, if that's the case, you need to speak to the ABC. They effectively need to. The ABC will mirror that suspension. Do you understand? So when he was provisionally suspended by UKAD and the board, he was provisionally suspended with the ABC. The ABC then did their own investigation. They spoke to the British Boxing Board of Control to confirm that he's not suspended and he is therefore cleared to fight. Once they found that out, they were happy to give Texas the commission to give him permission to box. We then went to Florida. Florida not only had the reports of his testing over the last whatever amount of weeks, they also said, we want him to take a test today. So we arranged, this is the main delay of the announcement, we arranged for VADA to do an additional test last week, that was at the request of the Florida State Athletic Commission. We had to expedite those results with VADA. They came through early this week, obviously negative. Went to Florida checked with Texas, they were happy. Florida checked with the ABC, they were happy. and then everybody made the decision that he was licensed to box. This wasn't, I've seen a lot of stuff from various outlets. Oh, they've just slipped him on. Like, this was a process that took a long period of time, and I'm glad it did, because it enables me to sit here with you and answer any question you want to ask me. And I mean that. I know you get accused of not asking. You can ask me any question you want, ever, right? But in this situation, we know that the process was one, and and we keep saying this thing about he's not been cleared. I just don't understand it. If he wasn't cleared to fight, he cannot fight this weekend. This is not he's banned in another country, he's suspended in another country, but we've gone and boxed him in another country and gone round a loophole. Because he's cleared to fight, he's been allowed to fight here. So, and we keep, we hear about an appeal which may or may not happen. We've heard it's going to happen. We have no information. We have no date. We don't know if it's going to be in this year, next year. What do you want him to do? Just sit around? He won his case with UKAD and the board, and he's cleared to fight, and he's fighting this Saturday, and then he's going to have a massive fight in December. So that's where we are, and we can't wait.
I suppose just picking up on that then, you mentioned about the board. Obviously they made the decision to appeal at the very last minute. The fact that the suspension was lifted, we know that this, as far as we're aware, isn't as long as the previous case. I believe 6 to 8 weeks was like the rumoured time that was given. Whereabouts, where are we at with that?
How long ago was that? 6 weeks ago? Yeah. So we have no real information about any appeal. We've been told it's going to happen. We have no date. Listen, if there's going to be an appeal, we want that appeal now. But we're not going to wait around 3, 4, 5 months. He hasn't boxed for 18 months. So when you're cleared to box, you should be allowed to go back to work. And that's what he's doing. He goes back to work on Saturday.
So where are you at on that point then, with regards to the Chris Eubank Jr. fight? Obviously you want that fight to happen in the UK. What process has to happen now? And I imagine sooner rather than later.
I mean, right now he's cleared to fight in the UK. If there was an appeal and they won an appeal, that situation would change. We want to fight Eubank in the UK. And, I keep seeing stuff like other promoters going out saying, oh, this is, let's just make one thing clear. Over the last couple of days, people on behalf of Boxer, and therefore on behalf of Sky, have been approaching Chris Eubank Jr. and trying to weasel into Conor Benn's network to make them offers to do the fight in December. That's how wrong it is for Conor Benn to be fighting.
How cool does he look with his shades, bringing the coffee over?
With the coffee, unbelievable, all round. What a player, what a team player.
That was not your most glamorous of noises, Edward.
Bit chilly actually, the old coffee. Yeah, what's that, Frappuccino, I think? Oh, blimey. Right. And I can't remember where we were now. So they've been making. It's all bollocks. Everybody wants that fight.
So Boxer have approached Chris Eubank's team
on behalf of Boxer
regarding the Conor Benn fight.
Correct. And approached networks of Conor Benn to try and slip round the back door.
Your thoughts?
It's all right. It's boxing. People do things with integrity, with no integrity. Or not just integrity is the wrong word. What's the word I'm looking for? We'll come back to that. What I know is people have been made aware of that today. Chris Eubank is under contract with Wasserman Boxing, with Kalle Sauerland, okay? And therefore, Kalle Sauerland is the person to speak to about Chris Eubank's next fight. We're in negotiations with Kalle Sauerland. I think one of the things from Chris Eubank was probably, but can he box? Will he box? This Saturday changes everything. Following this fight, we will be speaking to Kalle and putting a huge financial offer to Chris Eubank to make the Conor Benn fight in December. Now, if he doesn't want that fight, we will make another huge fight for Conor Benn. But of course, the Eubank Benn fight is the biggest fight in British boxing, so we want to make that fight. We've got to win on Saturday, but back on the saddle.
You believe then all systems are go, given Conor gets through Saturday night, regardless of this still ongoing dispute regarding the suspension being lifted, the Chris Eubank fight happens in December if that team accepts.
Yes, absolutely. And we want that fight in the UK. Listen, we're in conversations to do that fight internationally. That fight, everyone knows, is huge. It's huge. It sells out any arena in the world. Huge amounts of Brits get on the plane for that fight to watch it. But I would like to do the fight at Wembley or at the Millennium Stadium. And we will be speaking to the British Boxing Board of Control following Saturday to try and go through that process to make that happen.
I want to ask you something here, and I haven't before, despite having it flooded in my inbox as you know, boxing fans do, regarding this silent ban thing. Now, I haven't said anything prior because I've never heard of anything similar. I'm not saying it isn't a thing, I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, it's not a thing. I know that there's a sort of a discrepancy involved in certain situations regarding drug bans, but for example, when Conor failed his test, it came out. This whole silent ban stuff regarding Craig Richards and Felix Cash, I believe. Do you want to address that?
Absolutely. Twitter bollocks, of which he's just fucking like, I mean, I can't even stress how much bollocks you read on there, but that is particularly one. There is, you know, I have never had a fighter. By the way, I don't even think a silent ban exists. When they make a decision, UKAD, to ban a fighter, that decision is released, correct? Tete, Sokolowski, anybody. I have never had a fighter that has received a ban from UKAD in my entire career. I just want to make sure I get that right. Yes, I certainly have not had a fighter that has been received a ban from UKAD and a silent ban ongoing. Craig Richards fractured his fucking hand. I mean, what? Like, these people are morons. And by the way, I put this on record now. If I ever have a fighter that is found guilty and banned by UKAD, if that fighter, and it gets released anyway, so I don't even know why we're having this conversation, but if it didn't get released for some reason that actually doesn't even exist, I would insist that the fighter releases that information, or I would no longer work with them. So, in answer to your question, absolute rubbish. I mean, do you think, like...
That's what I've not asked you before, because it baffled me when I read it.
So let's talk about, you know, Felix Cash, for example, who's one of the fighters you made. Do you think, if he was under a ban, he would train for 12 weeks and spar hundreds of rounds to pull out on fight week if he couldn't even fight anyway? I mean, it's just bizarre. But anyway, yeah, no is the answer. And there is no thing as a silent ban. Once that fighter is found guilty, they release the information. And I would insist on that too.
Just lastly on this whole Conor Benn situation, there has been criticism online. Adam Cattrall's put some tweets out. Dan Raphael's put some tweets out. Conor Benn replied to that one. Riyadh from the Mail put, in my view, boxers who fail drugs tests should not be allowed to fight until the process of proving innocence or guilt is finished. The process involving Benn is ongoing. Remarkable that a licence can be handed out in these circumstances.
Not ongoing. Cleared. Now, if someone wants to appeal that, can I ask these questions? Adam Cattrall, Dan Raphael, what do you want Conor Benn to do? He's gone through a WBC situation. They've reinstated him in the rankings, right? They've said, we believe you're clear of wrongdoing, you can fight. People said, no, he must go through a UKAD situation. He went through that situation, he won his case. He's cleared to fight. What do you want him to do? We've got no date of any appeal. We don't know whether the appeal's happening. Do you just want him, having been cleared to fight and having had his suspension lifted, what do you want him to do? Adam Cattrall and Dan Raphael. And actually, they won't even be honest about that. What they'll say is, oh, he should just wait. What, wait another 4, 5, 6 months while he's cleared to fight? While he's financially in the situation he's in? Fuck, you know... this is why now I'm so comfortable with this situation. Cleared to fight by the British Boxing Board of Control. Cleared to fight by the ABC. Cleared to fight by Texas. Cleared to fight by Florida. It's time. Now, if there's an appeal that does actually happen and he goes through that situation and he loses an appeal and he's suspended, not cleared to fight. Okay? But guess what? He won his case. Cleared to fight. ABC, conversation with the British Boxing Board of Control. Is Conor Benn suspended? No. Okay, therefore he is clear to fight. And it's time those people started under, whether they like it or not.
It's quite scary.
No, but it's because now, I don't care now, because I'm so comfortable with the situation, it's so transparent, the situation, there's nothing to hide. So it's on, and it's on Saturday, live on DAZN.
Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder. Malik Scott has come out today and said that he feels like promises have been made on your side and there's a possibility that they've not been kept.
Yes. I've not had one conversation with Deontay Wilder.
The team?
Never spoke to Deontay Wilder's team.
Shelley Finkel, though.
I've never negotiated this fight. I've never talked to Deontay Wilder's team about a number, a date, nothing. All of these conversations took place individually with Deontay Wilder and Skills Challenge. So how, I've never seen that before, and I'll message Malik Scott, how Malik Scott wants to blame me for a promise that I've not even spoken to them about the fight. They had their own individual negotiations with Skills Challenge, so did we. We were told by Skills Challenge in Saudi Arabia, this fight will be happening. Everybody agreed the money, and at the moment, obviously, that's not the situation. We'll see if those conversations progress, but I'm really sorry, Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder. I don't know why you want to blame me.
There's only a possibility that they haven't been kept on your side. I use the word possibility because they're not.
How the fuck do I get the blame for this one? It's unbelievable. I've not even spoken to Malik Scott about a fight, about an offer, about a contract. We were just told by people that we'd made a fight with before, this fight was on and it was happening. And we believed that. Okay? So I would think Deontay Wilder is incredibly frustrated because he hasn't fought for over a year and he hasn't got a date. If he wants a date, I'm happy to talk to him. And I'm happy to give Deontay Wilder a fight and continue those conversations. But, you know, I've had conversations with Zhilei. I've never had conversations with Zhilei about the Joshua date, the money, the deal, nothing. We want that fight. We're as disappointed as Deontay Wilder that fight's not yet signed.
Relationship with the Saudis. Now we know that Skills Challenge have potentially, stepped away from boxing. The Honourable Turkey, I'm not going to try and pronounce his surname because I'll butcher it up, but could you see yourself working with them moving forward?
Of course. You know, we're the only ones that have put on a major boxing event so far, and we're the only ones that have ever done it. I mean, Fury and Ngannou is great, it is what it is, but we are the only ones that have put on the World Heavyweight Championship in Saudi Arabia. It's been an unbelievable honour to do so, and we hope that that relationship continues, and we hope that we can make Joshua Wilder. It's the biggest fight in boxing, or up there. I mean, it's the only fight bigger than Joshua Wilder in boxing is Joshua Fury. That's it. So they want to bring the biggest fights to Saudi Arabia. We're happy to deliver them for them.
Zhang, Joyce 2, final prediction?
I'm afraid to say it. I'm going to go with a Zhang stoppage inside 6 rounds.
Canelo Charlo?
Canelo Alvarez by late stoppage.
Who would you like to see Canelo in with next?
Edgar Berlanga.
It won't be Edgar Berlanga, though.
Who knows in this crazy world?
True. Update on Hrgovic's situation?
Pushing the IBF. The IBF should be calling that mandatory position, and we're speaking to the teams to make sure their rules are followed.
Tyson Fury saying he's achieved everything that there is to achieve in boxing?
I think what Tyson Fury has achieved in boxing is incredible. The frustrating thing, I think he could achieve even more. I think he's an unbelievable fighter. I think right now he's the best heavyweight in the world. You know, on the plane, I watched the George Foreman film. I don't know if you've seen it. But I started thinking to myself, wow, boxing's such an incredible sport, such a historic sport, you know. And I started thinking, I like watching old fights, but really I want to study that era more. You know, when you talk about Foreman fighting Fraser in Jamaica, going over there as just a big, strong guy who somehow won Olympic gold out of nowhere and then knocked out Joe Frazier in the second round. And then everyone thought he was like a pure killer. And then he went and fought Muhammad Ali in Zaire. And they were shouting Ali Boombaye, which means Ali kill him. And he went out. And what Ali did in that fight, I love boxing. I'm really not saying this for any digs or anything. I just hope that fighters who are at the top of those divisions care enough about legacy to keep this sport what it is and could be. Like Tyson Fury is the favourite to beat Alexander Usyk and become the undisputed heavyweight in the world. One of the greatest fights of our era. And if he beats him and if he beats AJ, you can put Fury up there with Foreman and Lewis and all these guys. In my opinion, you can't put Fury up there with those guys now because of his resume. I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be... And I think he's brilliant. And I think he's hilarious. And I think I've watched the Netflix stuff, and I think he's an unbelievable entertainer. I just want people to show greatness. And of course I want AJ to fight him as well, because I believe AJ can beat him. That's just my opinion. But if he can't, good luck to Tyson Fury, and just have those 2 fights and go down as a great. And I know he says now I'm not bothered about boxing. I just want to be a movie star and all this. I don't believe him. Whenever I've sat down with Tyson Fury, his knowledge of boxing and his love for the sport is unbelievable. Just follow your heart. And I know his heart's in boxing. So, and it's not, I don't even have any involvement in the Usyk fight. So there's no reason for me to say he should be having that fight. But he should have that fight because I think he wins. And he becomes undisputed. And any time there's an undisputed champion, he's great for boxing. He's great for boxing, whatever. But I just feel like when you look back over the greats, he could be a great. He could be an all-time great, and he's not yet.
Eduardo, finally from me, Frank, I might get you involved here. What's actually happened over the last year or 2 years? Because he's gone from not the best get-ups to designer sliders, short shorts, sunglasses, button-down shirt. I don't really understand how the processes have evolved.
Yeah, when I come back, I want to come back as Frank Smith. I mean,
no, he says that about me.
The life, about you, mate, the life this young man leads. I mean, I've got to say, shout out to Frank Smith. We've got a major announcement tomorrow for the business. I will take the credit somehow, but it was all down to Frank Smith. The boy is becoming a man, and ultimately he is my successor in every way. But the lifestyle, the only thing I'm a bit jealous of is that I never lived the life that Frank Smith is living. Because I feel like, because I missed the boat a little bit. When we were coming through, like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, the opportunities weren't there to like fly to this Formula One event, then go to Soho House in Miami for a month, then go to Malaysia and Abu Dhabi, and then go to Bali and Ibiza on holiday. Like, I didn't have those facilities.
Man's doing grid walks.
Yeah.
F1.
Yeah. Man's doing grid walks, Parsons, yeah. But like, you know, I feel like, and now I'm too old to do all that, right? Now I'm too old anyway. So I look at him, and I look at his social media, and I just think, boy's had it off. But he's producing the goods. And as you see, my greatest thing is, I don't have any arguments anymore with Warren, with anyone. Because it's Frank. And I keep saying to Frank, why are you upsetting people? Like, I'm actually getting to the stage now where I'm actually thinking, you know, I might even go for a coffee with Frank Warren because I'm no longer involved. It's just Frank and Frank Warren and Frank and Shalom. And then it's like, you know, everybody's on Frank.
Edward?